Hi everybody, it's Becky Singleton, and you're on Happy, Healthy, and Fit today. We're going to discuss faith. Faith we have in ourselves, faith that we have with others, our belief systems. We're going to also talk about how the people that are in our circles that surround our lives, are they good for us or are they negative and impact on our lives? We're going to talk about that today here on Happy, Healthy, and Fit.
Can you show me the way? Can you show me the way? Can you show me, baby, can you show me the way? Can you show me the way? Can you show me the way? Can you show me, baby, can you show me the way?
Hi everybody, thank you for coming back to the channel. I'm Becky Singleton, and I want to just remind you, if you haven't pushed that subscribe button, please do so, and also that thumbs up. Appreciate that so much. So I want to talk about a few things today. A lot's been going on this past weekend. And one of the things that really came at me today was about faith. Are you faithful to yourself? Are you true to yourself? You know, so many of us try to pander, what I call pandering, to others to make them, you know, the number one spot. But we have to make ourselves in an important spot in our lives. And we can't always be putting people before ourselves. It's not healthy. And so that's a lot of people pleasing. And I know growing up, I was like that a lot. I'm not interested in people pleasing anybody but myself and taking care of the people that I love that are in my circle. And we'll talk about people in your circle in a minute. But it's important to have balance. You don't want to be too far on either side. You want to always make sure that your faith, you're faithful to yourself. And I know you think of faith, you think of more of a religious act of faith. And I think a lot of times our belief systems come from the religions that we grew up in. I actually grew up in a very strict religion, very. And I spent my time at Bible studies and services 3 times a week. And then I was expected to do missionary work. I mean, there was a lot in terms of the religion. And I learned a lot. You know, I remember a scripture talking about bad associations spoil useful habits. And, you know, we were always it was strict on who we could hang out with. We could never be with people who smoked or did drugs or drank alcohol. We weren't allowed. I mean, it was very, very strict the way I grew up. And I knew that Bible inside and out. I could pull any scripture out and verbatim tell you what it was. But it was like fed through me through this system. And as I started to develop myself and grow, I realized I really enjoy the spiritual aspect that I'm at today. You know, I love the fact that when I use my meditation and I honor who I am, listening to my higher self, my intuition, whatever you call it. People like to, you know, call it what they want, but it's my own internal GPS system. I listen to that all the time. So pay attention to that. Listen to yourself. Have faith enough in yourself and know the messages you're getting are true because they're coming from inside the house. They're inside you. And I encourage you to do that. And, you know, as I look back at, you know, how my faith was growing up and where I am now, one thing that's maybe changed a little bit is I have more faith in myself. I have an uncle. His name is Willie Barron. And every morning he sends me a very spiritual Christian kind of message. Every morning at 6:01, ding, it comes through my phone. And it's a 3-minute message. And it's always a very uplifting message and a reminder message. And I appreciate that he does that. He actually grew up with my dad. They went to high school together. They played sports together. They went to college together. So he's known me, as I say, before I was here, right? And he's a pastor at a Baptist church back where I grew up in Malden, Massachusetts, and he did the service when my father passed away. But he's a very healthy-minded man. And he's now, I think Uncle Willie's going to be 80 if he's not already. He and my dad were around the same age. So my dad would have turned 80 in March. So they're around the same age. And he does Tai Chi. He does meditation every morning. He often says, I'm going to be meditating in the morning. I hope you do the same. This is a Christian man. And I know sometimes people feel a little awkward about when people go, I'm going to meditate. You know, some people take that like it's a different, thing to do. But a lot of people meditate. It's just being still and being with yourself and listening to yourself. What's bad about that? I never understood why people kind of, want to get all uncomfortable. I often think that people who don't like that you do that don't want you to think differently than them. So that's one thing. That's my opinion. But, you have to listen to yourself. Too many voices from the external world can disrupt your own device of listening to yourself. You have to listen to yourself, and sometimes that requires you not to be with people, for you to take the time to listen and be truthful with yourself. So remember that, okay? We're coming to a time that the world is changing ever since the COVID. There's a lot of people who just think about work differently, or companies fell through. They didn't make it through Corona. And I have to tell you, I worked for a company, not obviously during the Corona, fell apart long before, but I worked for Polaroid, which, it was like a big family when I worked there. My mom worked there, my stepdad worked there, I worked there, my ex-husband worked there, that's how I met him. We just were a big family. I'm still in touch with many of those people I worked with at Polaroid. It was my first corporate job. And I have to tell you that no one in their life would have ever thought that would have gone belly up. But it did. And it no longer really exists the way it was when I was working there and my family was working there and friends. But things change. Who knew that would go away? But it did. So we have to always kind of think of ourselves as, I have enough faith in myself that I can start a new business, or I can do something I always dreamed about. This is the time that we do that. If you have a great idea, this is the right time right now for you to start that, especially if it involves helping other people. As you know, I'm going through with starting, supporting the homeless. And I'm shocked. I'm literally shocked at how many people think they do this on purpose. Regardless of how you feel about what people have done or haven't done, not every person is down and out because they want to be. They're down and out because of some tragic circumstance. And they don't want to be there, but they get accustomed, like anything else, warm and shitty. They get, comfortable that this is the way it is, this is the way it's going to be. And people get stuck. Even I know regular folks might be in a marriage that literally is warm and shitty. It's something they know, but it's so shitty they just, think this is it. It's not it. You have to be very mindful about that surrounding. That goes back to the people around you. What kinds of people do you have? The people you spend the most time with are the people that affect you the most. You want to be around high vibe people, people that are doing things, people that are making things happen, people who you can brainstorm with, start a business with, do things that you want to do, things that do good for the universe, for the environment, for the earth, for the people that live on this earth. That's what we want to do. We want to do things that are great. We don't want to sit in a cesspool of people. Now, I grew up with aunts and uncles that struggled with drugs and alcohol. And I remember being a young girl and going to the bar with one of my aunts. My father flipped out, like he just lost it. But, alcohol is a disease. Alcoholism is a disease. And it's something that people work through. But if you surround yourself with people that drink and drink and drink and you're trying not to drink, you could fall into that pattern again. The same with drugs. If you're hanging out with people that do drugs and you're trying to get off drugs, if you're around the wrong people, it'll trigger you. when you're trying to stay strong and stay away from that stuff. Whatever addiction you have, whatever what I call devil energy, that's a negative, low vibration thing that happens to people. And so many people want to get out of it, but how can you? You got to have faith in yourself first, that you can break free from those chains, because it serves you no good to ruin your life, ruin your body, all those things that it does. It's not good. So be healthy in your mindset. Take good care of yourself. As you know, and we talk about health on this channel, it's really important that you do 35 minutes of exercise every day. I don't care what it is, a walk, the gym, whatever it is. Ride your bike. Do something for 35 minutes every day. I'm telling you, it'll just be the best thing you ever give yourself. The second thing is you got to bring in healthy foods. Green and leafy vegetables are best. And really make sure you have a balance of what you're drinking. Lots of water is important. Keep all those things in balance. If it's a processed food, try to stay away from that. You don't need to eat those. Those aren't good for your body. These are things that you can live a better and healthier life just by doing those two things. Eating well, drinking water are huge. And then, of course, exercise. Sleep. Make sure you're sleeping. Sleep is very important. And honor that. And if you're having a hard time sleeping, I want you to think about something good before you go to sleep, something you really want to happen, a dream you have, vacation, anything like that. Those are some tips on how to make those changes when you're trying to move away from the company that is not really good for you and start to switch to what you want to do. You're going to find people that are just like you, that want to do those healthy minded things and stay in that and help you stay healthy, and you help them. It's a great thing. Think about continuing to listen to yourself. Have faith in yourself. Believe in yourself. Keep away from toxic, negative people. If all someone has to say is something negative, please just shut the door. Don't acknowledge them. Shut it down. I talked a couple weeks ago about toxic relationships. These people want attention. Don't give it to them. They don't deserve it, and you don't need to do that. Let them stay in a cesspool with other negative people, and they can knock themselves out. But stay with the good people. Be around people that uplift you, that tell you can do it. You can do it. You can do whatever you want to do, and know that you're supported and someone's got your back. Sometimes I feel like I got my own back, right? But sometimes it's nice to know that someone's got our back. This is how I think of myself, so I'm just going to share this with you. I think of myself as my own lottery ticket. I really do. I think that I have so many skills and so many abilities that it doesn't matter. Whatever I want to do, I can do. I want you to think of yourself the same way, of your own lottery ticket. You can do whatever it takes to do what you want to do that brings something good out to this earth. All those things are really meant for us to grow and uplift. We're really coming into what they're calling the Great Awakening. And we're waking up to really what's important. Helping others, really making sure we take good care of ourselves, be aware about our own personal and spiritual care. How do we care for ourselves? How do you use meditation? Meditation can lower stress, lower anxiety. It's a wonderful thing. I'm a very peaceful person, probably more peaceful than I've ever been. And I'm grateful for that, because I really tell you is about the meditation and being still. And when I'm having, challenges for the moment, I go into being in a meditative state to just remember what I have. Being grateful is the best thing you can do while meditating. Thank you for my home. Thank you for my children. Thank you for the protection you give us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's always about the little things. Find little things to be grateful for, and your faith will strengthen for yourself. I'm really happy to be here on the channel with you. I appreciate you listening. And, you know, it's all about really making sure we're doing our best to keep our vibration as high as possible. Just thinking a good thought brings you into a higher vibration. Doing something kind to somebody and for someone can bring you to the higher vibration. Stay away from jealous people. Stay away from envious people. People that have no good up their sleeve. They don't deserve your time, your effort, or your attention. Remember that. So thank you for coming today. I'm Becky Singleton, and I'm just like you.
Baby, can you show me the way?